What if you could take something like modern physics and use it to map out a deep theological mystery? Sounds kind of out there, right? Well, today on The Explainer, we're diving into a paper that does exactly that. It tries to build a logically sound model for one of the toughest ideas in all of Christian theology. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's just start with the big, staggering question at the heart of all this. How can a single event, something that happened 2,000 years ago, be truly present right here, right now? I mean, think about that. How is that even possible? How do you do that without, rerunning history or just completely breaking the laws of cause and effect? This is the fundamental puzzle that this paper has the guts to try and model. All right, so first up, let's talk about what the paper calls an impossible presence. We've got to frame the core problem here, and it's a big one. It's this immense challenge of trying to build a bridge between our physical reality, the one we live in, and what theologians call sacramental reality. And this really gets to the core tension, right? I mean, our everyday gut feeling, and frankly, classical physics, tells us that time is a one-way street. The past is, well, it's past. It's fixed, it's done, it's gone. An event happens one time at one place, and then that's it, it's over. But this idea of real presence, it completely flips that on its head. It suggests that one single historical event can be accessed over and over and over again in who knows how many places. That's a huge challenge to how we normally think about time. So how do you even begin to tackle a problem like that? Well, the paper argues that we need a totally different map for time. Forget thinking about time as a single road. Instead, I want you to picture it like a massive branching river system. And here is where you can really see that shift in perspective. On the left, that's the old map, right? The linear timeline we all kind of learn in school. But on the right, that's the new model this paper is working with. It's called branching spacetimes, or BST for short. And in this view, the past is shared, it's common ground. But the future, the future is this incredible web of all the possible histories that could happen. The really cool thing about this BST model is that it gives us a way to think about a future that isn't already written in stone. It's like an open landscape of possibilities. It's that cosmic choose-your-own-adventure we mentioned. This model makes room for real freedom. Our choices actually matter in deciding which path becomes real. But at the same time, it allows for a kind of God's eye view that can see the whole map, every single possibility, without actually forcing anyone down a specific path. Okay, so we've got this new map of reality. This is where the paper does something, well, pretty remarkable. It actually starts assigning specific roles to the persons of the Trinity inside this branching spacetimes model. So first up, the Father. In this model, the Father isn't some kind of cosmic micromanager pulling all the strings. No, a better way to think about it is that the Father is the one who establishes the entire modal envelope. It's like he sets up the ultimate game board and writes all the rules. It's the foundational structure that contains every single possible coherent history that could ever happen, the whole shebang. Now, this next piece is absolutely central to the whole model. The Son is described as a branch-invariant anchor event. That's a mouthful, I know, but what it means is incredible. It means that no matter which path you take in that cosmic choose-your-own-adventure, there is one fixed point, one single event that exists on every single possible timeline. It's a constant, it's an anchor. You literally can't skip it. And that brings us to the Spirit. The Spirit's role here is modeled as the selection kernel. Now, don't think of this as some force that shoves you down one path. It's more like a guide, or maybe even a compass. The Spirit lawfully guides us through all these branching possibilities, kind of lighting up the paths ahead, but without ever taking away our free will or deciding the outcome for us. Okay, we have to pause here for a really important clarification. This is a crucial theological guardrail. The paper is not saying there are three separate beings doing three different jobs. Absolutely not. This model is built on a core principle called inseparable operations. The foundation, the anchor, and the operator, they're just three different modes of one single undivided divine act. It's one action, just seen from three different personal perspectives. They work in perfect unity. All right, so we have our map of reality. We have the roles defined, but the big question is, how does this all come together to actually explain the Eucharist? This is where we get into the nitty-gritty, the mechanics of making the past present. To really get what's happening next, we need to quickly grab a tool from philosophy. It's this distinction between accidents and substance. It's pretty simple, really. Accidents are just how something appears to our senses. Its shape, its color, its taste. Think the appearance of bread and wine. Substance, on the other hand, is what something truly is deep down, its essential identity. The claim in the Eucharist is that the accidents, the appearance of bread and wine, stay the same, but their underlying substance, their reality, actually changes. And honestly, this quote from the paper just nails it. It sums up the entire goal of the model. The whole operation is about an identification of substance while preserving local accidents. It's about taking the substance of the local event and identifying it with the substance of that universal anchor event, the sacrifice, all while leaving the physical appearance, the local accidents, totally untouched. The paper gives this mechanism a pretty cool name, a temporal collapse. So let's just walk through how it works step by step. 1. You've got a local liturgical event. Let's call it E. 2. The action of the Spirit is invoked. In theology, this is called the epiclesis. It's like a calling down. 3, and this is the magic move. This invocation identifies the substance of that local event, E, with the substance of the big anchor event, S. And 4, and this is so important, the accidents of E, what it looks and tastes like, remain completely, totally unchanged. So you might be thinking, wait a minute, how does this not just break physics? And here's the clever part. The key is that this whole identification of substance, it doesn't happen in our normal physical space-time. The paper proposes it happens in a totally separate sacramental layer. What does that mean? It means no new causal links are made, no signals are sent, no energy gets transported from the past. The laws of physics are left alone, because the change isn't a physical one. It's a change in substance, not accidents. Okay, so we've gone through all this really complex modeling, branching spacetimes, anchor events, sacramental layers. So what? What's the actual point? What does building this formal structure really accomplish? Let's take a look at the coherent picture it paints. And I think this quote really gets to the intellectual humility at the heart of this entire project. The authors are super clear about this. They say their goal is not to capture the mystery, not to solve it or explain it away. The goal is to create regulatory clarity. In other words, to build a precise, logically consistent language we can use to talk about the mystery, so that the claims don't just collapse into nonsense. This table here is just a fantastic summary of everything the model manages to pull off. It takes all those big challenges we talked about and addresses them head on. You ask, how do you get real presence? The model answers by identifying substance in a sacramental layer. How do you avoid breaking spacetime? By making sure no new causal signals are created. How do you make the past present? Through the Spirit's action, which is called epiclesis, to achieve anamnesis, which is this powerful idea of making something past truly present again, not just remembering it. And finally, how do you preserve free will? By using that branching, open future model. When you see it all laid out like this, it's just a remarkably elegant and integrated solution. And that's where we'll leave it. This entire exercise, I think, pushes us to ask a really deep question about the relationship between our reason and, well, faith. Can a formula ever truly contain a mystery? Probably not. But by building a formal model like this, we don't get rid of the mystery. Instead, maybe by proving that it can be talked about in a way that's coherent and doesn't contradict itself, we're actually given a whole new language to appreciate just how profound that mystery really is.